Hello. Happy Tuesday. This episode, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to get real. I'm going to get real with you about investing. And this came out of a conversation I had inside of The Reckoning last night, which is my newest course that is now available evergreen. It is self-led. It is pre-recorded. You can watch it as many times as you want. You can come back to it, all the things. It's easily the most powerful course I've ever come up with to this far. And it is, I think, a game changer for the person that's really ready to lead themselves in a really powerful way in 2023. And in that, we did a Q&A last night. And one of the questions that was asked was about investing and how much I invest and what do I outsource and what am I investing in and investing in terms of my business. So not like my stocks and stuff, but what am I investing in my business? And so that is what I want this episode to be about, because I think this is something that a lot of people are in the dark about. So before I go into that, I have to tell you about 2 new masterminds that I have launching March 1st. Not one, but 2 masterminds, completely different topics, completely different demographic. One is called Launch with Power. I've already done this mastermind. It's currently in session. It's an 8-week mastermind currently. I have decided through the experience of running it as an 8-week mastermind that this is a mastermind that needs to be rolling, because there are so many people that are creating businesses right now and launching and scaling their businesses, expanding their businesses. And what all of these people have in common is that a lot of times you don't have the support system of people who are moving and shaking and having the same conversations that you are having. And so inside of Launch with Power, we are talking all things launch and scale in our businesses. So that's anything from the strategy side of like actually how to create a business, the LLC portion, business tax and strategy, as well as the energetics of business. So we are talking about limiting beliefs. We are talking about healing our patterns and our loops and our triggers. And we are talking about powerfully leading ourselves in our business. We are talking about content. We are talking about marketing. And so I've decided to make this mastermind a rolling mastermind, which means it won't end. It means when you come into it, you can come in for a 6-month or a 12-month commitment, which I think is the right amount of time. I don't think anything less than that is really worth your time, because you really, if you are expanding your business or launching a business, you really do need time to let that happen. And after all, a lot of us who create businesses, we're not in it for a quick fix. So this idea that it should happen, in 12 weeks is really, it's not realistic. So 6 or 12-month commitment. We are in pre-sale pricing for that now. If you want the link to register for that mastermind, that is in the show notes, or you can go to my website, DanielleMcCleary.com, hit the work with me tab, and you'll see that mastermind there. And that will include 24-hour Voxer. I'm not in there 24 hours, but the Voxer chat will be open 24 hours. We will be doing twice a month group coaching and live coaching calls, hot seat coaching, as well as maybe some experts and stuff being brought in to chat as well. So a lot of really cool opportunities, but above any of that, you have the support system of other entrepreneurs in the same boat as you, which is pretty epic. So that's in pre-sale pricing now. The second mastermind is called the Return to Personal Power Mastermind. And this could be for an entrepreneur. This also could just be for anyone who is feeling that itch inside of them, that like insatiable desire inside of them, that they are ready to level up. They are ready to step into a richer, more elegant, more elevated version of themselves. This urge to have more stimulating conversations, to really align with a frequency that is completely focused on growth and lead ourselves powerfully. So much of our issues come down to the fact that we're not leading ourselves. We're not stepping into personal power. We are not stepping into feminine leadership as an energy. And what this mastermind is going to support you with is doing that and collapsing the time that it would take for you to do it on your own. That's the power of a mastermind. It's collapsing time. a lot of this work took me years to figure out. And so when I offer these spaces, it's because I want to give it to you in quicker. I want to help you collapse the time that it's going to take you so you can just immediately align with that frequency. There is a misconception in the personal development world that it should take years and years and years. And I don't believe it has to. I believe you can align with a new frequency whenever you want. And then if you have the support of the people around you to really, stand behind you and say, you got this, every single step of the way, it makes it a lot easier and more powerful when you do it. So that is also starting March 1st. That is starting as a 12-week mastermind. I don't know if it's going to stay 12 weeks. I think it might end up being a rolling mastermind as well, but I want to test it out at 12 weeks first because it is the first time I'm going to run this mastermind. That is also in pre-sale pricing. Once we drop the branding for it next week, that price will go up. This will include definitely experts being brought in different healing modalities, somatic breathwork techniques, different ways that you can, step back into leading yourself. As well as group coaching calls, as well as Voxer. And I will also be offering an upgrade in that mastermind where you can get a free coaching call, or not a free coaching call, but you can upgrade to get a coaching call with me as well, at least once during the time of that mastermind. So a lot of really beautiful things happening, and all of these things are launching March 1st. So if you want any of those, like I said, go to daniellemccleary.com/work-with-me and click on the links, or you can come to my Instagram, Danielle_on-the-daily. So that being said, let's get into this episode. Investing. Let's talk about it. I was asked a question last night, how much do you invest in your business? And I was like, oh, okay, let me think about that. So full transparency, here's what I do as investments in my business. I pay a podcast production team every single month that they edit, they produce, they, put my podcast out onto the internet, they market it, they do all the things. I pay them about $1,000 a month. I also have a virtual assistant and her team that handle all the things, SEO, funnel, email communication, the ops side of my business. And I pay her $1,800 a month. I also pay Breezy, who is my director of operations. So she's handling like all of the overseeing of all of my ops. She also does a lot of my content for the podcast Instagram. And I pay her about $1,800 a month as well. So that's all the outsourcing that I do for, and then there's other little things that I'll hire out. So like I have a bookkeeper and an accountant. I don't do any of my own books. I don't do any of my own accounting. And that is anywhere from $300 to $700 a month, depending on if it's like actually tax season or not. And then what else do I invest in my own coaching and my own mentorship, which a mastermind that I'm a part of was $58,000, to work one-on-one with my mentor. It's closer to $100,000 for the year. So there's a lot of investing that I do into my own personal growth with my mentor. And I think all of these things I think when you're trying to play the game at the level that I'm playing at, it's a non-negotiable to have mentorship and support. It's also a non-negotiable to outsource the things that are not in your genius. So I made a very conscious decision that I was going to only be handling working with my clients, creating content for my social media, and writing copy for all of my newsletters and stuff. And anything above that, I was going to outsource. And sure, I couldn't always do that. That was not always an option. As I was, building to 6 figures and actually had the financial cash flow to make that happen. However, I've always been investing for the level of life that I want, not the level of life that I'm at. And what I will say about that is, like when I first started my coaching business, so I had $0 coming in, I immediately invested in a $3,000 program and a $6,000 program. So over $9,000 invested before I made a dime. And I did that because I knew that I needed support, and I knew I desired the level of support from people who had done what I was doing. And so investing in my personal growth was never a question. And I absolutely paid in the payment plans. I absolutely paid per month. I absolutely didn't shop as much. I didn't eat out as much. I sacrificed other things at the beginning to make sure that my investments, I could still make my investments, and I showed up to my investments. And here's what I think that a lot of people don't realize, but if you're investing for the level that you're at versus the level that you want to be at, you will 9 times out of 10, you will not show up for those investments. And a perfect example of this is I just did The Reckoning, which was a course. And in December, I launched a secret offer, which allowed people to pay $20 all the way up to $111 as it increased, to be able to use toward any masterclass or group program in 2023. Like it was kind of like almost free, right? Like you got to use it. And so a lot of people bought that offer at $22. And then a lot of people, almost 100 people, used that for The Reckoning. And so we had close to 100 people that were enrolled in The Reckoning, or we had over 100 people, but close to 100 people who used their secret offer for The Reckoning. And we invited them all into a Facebook group, and everybody got the email about when the trainings are. And I would say at most 40 people watched those trainings and have participated in those trainings. And you may be thinking like, that's insane. Why would you sign up for something and then not take it? Well, I think it's because if you don't invest a lot into it, it is not important to you. And so when you are thinking about your investments, you could coach hop and buy, coach hop around to different coaches and pay $49 for their master classes and just do that over and over and over again. But are you really experiencing the staying power and the longevity of the business that you want? I doubt it. For me, my business is not a flash in the pan. My business is not I'm not doing this just to get rich quick. I want my business has staying power, and I'm here for the long haul. And so the idea of coach hopping, the idea of, just paying Zen Business once a year to do my taxes, the idea of having random virtual assistants take care of different jobs randomly, that didn't appeal to me because that was the energy of a business that didn't have staying power. So I really wanted to hire people that were here for the long haul with my business. I also wanted a tax team that could really get to know my business from the inside out all year long. I also want to invest in mentorship where I'm with the same mentor. I'm not interested in coach hopping. Coach hopping is an energy of lack. That's an energy of scarcity. And think about how chaotic that is. Every time you switch, you have to bring your mentor up to speed. And if you're only paying for, low ticket coaching courses, you're not getting personal help, personal support. That's why I always invest in mentorship, because mentorship is different than coaching. Coaching is and I'm not saying I don't invest in coaching programs. I still do. If I see a coach that's doing a program that I think is really cool and I would love to learn more about, I'll absolutely invest in it. But I'm not investing in that hoping for personal support, nor am I investing in that as a way to expand my mentorship. That is a coaching program. It's a one-time thing. I'm going to show up. I'm going to listen. I'm going to learn what I need to learn, and I'm going to implement it into my business. Where mentorship is someone to walk through the world with you. It is someone that you can link arms with. It is someone that gets to know you, the person, the human behind the CEO. What it makes you tick. What are you afraid of? Mentors, when I think about my one-on-one clients, I know what's happening in their life. I know what's happening in their relationships. I know what's happening with their kids. I know what they're afraid of. I know the traumas that they've endured through their life, and that is what we work on. And because when we work on the human, working on the business becomes easy. So I always tell people, if you have a business that you want to have staying power, you need to invest in high ticket, close proximity, personalized support. A mentor. You need to invest in that. It's a non-negotiable, because if you're just coach hopping, that is telling me that you don't believe in the staying power of your business. And the money trauma is real. We're afraid to invest big out of fear of not getting what we want in return. But we've also attached all of our identity to finances being the one metric for success, which that's not true. I've had people come to me and work with me one-on-one, and they're like, oh, I have this business and I'm trying to expand it. We spend 3 months working on them, the human. They completely change their entire business the whole time we work together. I actually just had a client that just graduated from my 3-month program, and she came to me as a dietitian. She was going to be all about it. She was going to be a health coach. She was going to be a dietitian. She was going to start her own health coaching. She was going to do all these programs. And within 8 weeks of working together, she realized that that's not what she wanted to do. She wanted to do something different entirely. And by the end of us working together, she was unrecognizable energetically. She was unrecognizable in her mindset, and she completely changed her business. And now she's opening up a membership called Soul Seekers for people who are like asking questions and like trying to like have a spiritual awakening. Like that is what she ended up doing. And she's so fired up and so passionate about it. I'm not saying that nutrition and dietetics will never have a place in her business, but it's like when we work on the human, you just never know what's going to happen. I have a client inside of one of my masterminds, which mastermind is considered a high ticket thing too. So I'm not saying one-on-one is the only way. I'm saying high ticket with personalized support. So masterminds are another great way to get personalized support from your mentor, as well as support from a group. That there's power in a mastermind. I will always be part of a mastermind for that reason. And it puts you in a space with people who are probably more successful than you, which is just the best motivator ever. But I have a client inside of one of my masterminds she came to me as like an Airbnb host and a direct sales. She's in direct sales, and she now has launched a coaching business, and it's something that she didn't really even realize that she wanted to do until she got into this mastermind. And then she realized that that's what she wanted to do. And she discovered that through mentorship. So I'm just saying, like, your investments matter. And if you're not investing into your business, whether that be through time or finances, then you cannot expect to be invested in with time or finances, and it kind of goes back to what I was saying about people not listening to the reckoning. People made a low financial investment, so they don't care about it as much. But also, if you make a low financial investment, then your time investment's going to be less. When I invest $58,000 into a mastermind, you bet I'm going to show up for calls. If I invest $3,000 into a program, you bet I'm going to show up for those calls. Or if I can't make the live, you bet I'm going to listen to that recording ASAP. But in the past, if I've only invested like $25 into something, I probably don't care about it as much. And that's just who we are as humans. So take the time, invest in quality, right? It'd be the same as like never investing in like good furniture, and instead you're just buying shit from IKEA all the time that breaks. There's power. Sure, it's more expensive up front. We're experiencing this right now with our house. We're investing into our house. We're putting really good furniture in here. I'm probably going to spend close to $75,000 furnishing our home. And I'm so proud to be able to do that because these are quality pieces. We're investing in art. We're investing in, like quality furniture that's going to have staying power. My entire life, the frequency that I'm attuned to, and what I encourage you to get on this frequency, is attuned to the frequency of staying power, of luxury, of like lasting quality, attuned to that frequency, and watch that play out in all areas of your life, right? You'll start to make bigger investments into your relationship. I invest so much more deeply into my relationship with Breezy and the relationship into my son. And that, sure, that has to do with finances. Like we'll spend money on first class tickets because that's giving us like a higher quality. We'll invest in like more time together. We really spend time getting to know each other on a deeper level because we want that to have staying power, right? Your actions and the way you invest into your life and into your business matter. And if you have been wanting to like grow your business and the problem that you're coming up with is like, oh, I just don't have the money. I can promise you're not going to have the money unless you start making some investments. And those investments need to make you uncomfortable. Like when I made first investments, when I invested over $9,000 before I had even made a dime, I was terrified. I was like, okay, like, what if, like, of course I had the fears. Like, what if this fails? What if this doesn't work? Y'all, we're always going to have those fears. But when I made that investment once, then when I did start making money and that compounded, then I was able to make bigger investments. But I'm always investing. I'm investing with where I'm going, not where I'm at now. So my investments have grown far beyond $9,000. $9,000 is a cheap investment for me now. $100,000 is an investment for me now. And so, but that would have never happened had I not believed that what I was doing needed to have staying power, and my energy and my frequency attuned to that immediately from the get-go. I attuned to that frequency. So that's what I encourage you to do. And I hope this was helpful. I know that like the investment conversation is so tricky because so many people are like, well, I just don't have money. And if I did have money, then it would be a different story, but I just don't. And so, I'm just going to keep saving until I can. But like, you can't save your way to wealth. Like it's impossible. And sometimes like you need to sacrifice those, you need to sacrifice those trips to Starbucks, and you need to sacrifice those cheap, instant gratification clothing purchases, and kind of like prioritize differently. But I'm not here to convince you of what to invest in. But what I can say is I know there's a lot of people who have been wanting to invest in my programs or my masterminds that don't because of the money issue. And I'm telling you, if you made your investments a priority for your long-term growth, it would become a lot easier to make those choices. So I hope this was helpful. If you want to talk about it, come to my Instagram, Danielle_on_the daily. And I'll be back next week with I'll be back on Friday with another episode. Love ya.